Yes, I am.
And if you need to refer to any reports or writings or notes in order to answer a question, please don't do it until you let the lawyer know or let the party know that you're needing to do that so that they can make a record of it.
Okay.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. LaRosse.
Thank you.
Yeah, why does he get to go first again?
Okay, hang on. Ms. Zayas?
What?
So in this part of the trial, Mr. LaRosse gets to go first.
For 5 hours a day.
Hold on. Next week, when we turn to...
I'm not going for that. No, that's not no. Sorry. I'll do next week. No.
Next week, you get to go first. And then they'll go second. So that's how it works.
Visit tomorrow. I'm not coming next week at all if I don't get a visit tomorrow. That's for sure.
Okay. All right, Mr. LaRosse, go ahead.
Thank you. And so I was going to ask, Your Honor, would you be offended if I removed my jacket because it's very hot?
No, you may remove your jacket. I understand.
One moment. Well, I do that. When I moved from Chicago to Seattle, I never thought that I would miss central air conditioning. So thank you. Ms. DeCamp, could you please state your name and spell your name?
My name is Julie DeCamp, Julie DeCamp.
And what is your business address?
1313 West Meeker Street, Suite 102, Kent, Washington, 98032.
And what is your occupation?
I am employed by DCYF as a Social Service Specialist 5.
And what does that mean?
So I supervise a team of child and family welfare services social workers who are involved carrying cases that are involved with the dependency court system.
And how long have you held that position?
I have been in the supervisor role for little over 3 years.
And prior to that, did you have work related to social work?
Yes. Prior to becoming a supervisor with DCYF, I carried my own caseload with DCYF also, so as a CFWS social worker. And prior to that, I worked for about 5 years at Child Haven, working with children and families who often had child welfare involvement or were at high risk in other ways.
And I'm sorry if I missed this, but how long were you a social worker prior to becoming a supervisor?
About 1.5 years.
And what was your, can you briefly describe your specific job duties and goals as a social working supervisor?
Yeah, so as I stated, I supervise a team of child welfare social workers. So I provide them with clinical supervision on the caseloads that they carry. They are working with families who are court involved. So meaning after CPS has done their investigation, my team is responsible for providing services to parents and to children, ensuring children's ongoing safety and well-being, permanency. We do that by having contact with children, families, collaterals, professionals, making referrals. So my job is to support the social workers who I supervise, and also occasionally that may mean doing some of the client engagement myself, just whatever is needed to support the social workers and the families.
And just to step back 1 second, you mentioned child family welfare services. Does that specifically relate to families who are, as you described it, are court involved?
Yes. Yes, it could be children are in home or out of home, but all the cases are court involved.
Okay. Can you briefly describe your educational background and your training for the position that you currently hold?
Yeah, I have a bachelor's degree in psychology and also a master's degree in social work. I, during my master's program, completed 2 field internships, one with the Dependency CASA program and one with DCYF. prior to my employment with DCYF. I have completed a number of trainings within the department, including regional core training. I've attended trainings for supervision. I also am a field instructor through University of Washington for students who are in their master's for social work programs. And then just various other trainings, domestic violence, trauma for children and child welfare, understanding substance use disorders, a variety of related trainings that often overlap with child welfare cases.
For purposes of working with families who are court involved, is it the customary practice for workers in CFWS to receive reports and evaluations from providers and rely on those reports and evaluations in developing your opinions on how to proceed the case?
Yes, definitely. We rely on professionals all the time in our ability to make assessments of safety and also the parental deficiencies that we may need to work on in order to achieve reunification for clients. So absolutely, we need professional assessments in our work in CFWS.
And do those assessments also include appropriate services to remedy parental deficiencies?
Yes, and that's the purpose of our involvement in CFWS, is to offer parents services in order to work towards reunification through the dependency court.
Thank you. So in terms of relying on other professionals, is that because those individuals have different expertise and are qualified to assess and provide services in specific areas?
Yes. So while I have a master's in social work, my job focus is child welfare. And so my specialty is assessing child safety, but I rely on, substance use evaluators and professionals and licensed psychologists and I said substance use providers, but really those professionals who are equipped to provide diagnoses in order for me to make safety determinations for children. So yes, I do rely on those other assessments.
And is that common or standard practice within the field of the specific type of social work that you are engaged in?
Yes.
Okay. And you referred us to assessing child safety. Does that include child's emotional and psychological safety as well as their physical safety?
Yes. Yeah, safety and well-being also.
Are you familiar with child Amaya Colonel Zayas?
Yes, I am.
And how is it that you're familiar with her?
I have been involved in this case since approximately March of 2020 in a supervising role off and on. I was initially assigned back in March of 2020 all the way until June of 2021. I then went on extended leave from June to October of 2021 and then resumed my involvement upon my return. So since my return at the end of October 2021, I have continued to work on the case with Ms. Ramos and supporting her in her work with the family. It's been over 2 years.
When you, can you describe when you were acting as a supervisor and when you were, if you were carrying the case yourself at any point?
So I was acting in a supervisor role the entire time I've been connected to this case. However, there have been times where I have been very actively involved in the client engagement portion of this case, just given some of the challenges that staff members I was supervising were having based on mother's engagement. So I often was having a lot of direct involvement on the case, even though I was in a supervisory role.
who were the workers who you were supervising who were handling the case?
So initially, the first CFWS social worker was Jamal McGee. He had the case through the time of the dependency trial. Following that, the case transferred to social worker in my unit, Emily Pledger. So I supervised the case while those two workers were carrying it. And then I believe there were some changes in social workers while I was on leave. And then when I returned, it was Ms. Ramos. So Mr. McGee and Ms. Pledger were the two social workers I supervised for the majority of the case. So Mr. McGee came off the case after the dependency trial. It was a decision that we made, hoping that a new social worker coming on after the experience of trial could potentially bring some different engagement with Ms. Zayas after services were court ordered. In addition, there were challenges between
Objection.
Yes, objection.
Relevance.
Relevance? Okay.
Relevant. She's not an expert, so why are we talking to her?
Okay, hang on. So, Mr. LaRosse, there's an objection to relevance. What's the relevance of the change in social workers? And what's the relevance of the reason for the change in social workers?
Well, no, because Jamal committed perjury during the. They usually do that when they commit a felony. They switch places. That's what they do.
Ms. Zayas, hang on. I've asked Mr. LaRosse to respond.
I'm just telling the truth.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mr. LaRosse.
So Ms. Zayas previously testified that both Ms. Cleaver and Mr. McGee were fired. And so this is in response to her.
How does that have to do with Amaya being abused, though?
Okay. So you can elicit testimony about whether they were fired or whether they were taken off the case.
Okay. Were either of them fired?
No.
And one more interruption, Mr. LaRosse, I'm sorry. We have a person in the waiting room. I just want to make sure nobody really wants her in, and that is Sylvia Howard.
Oh, she's a supervisor who was associated.
All the felons, aren't you?
She's a supervisor who was associated with the case at one point. So she's probably just checking in to see how trial is going.
So not going to be a witness?
No.
She has 22 criminal charges from Florida.
Okay. All right, Ms. Zayas, hang on. Okay, Ms. Johnson, you can admit Ms. Howard. Okay, I'll try not to interrupt now. Go ahead, Mr. LaRosse.
All right, let me just switch back here. Okay, so you said neither of them were filed. Were either of them removed from the case as discipline for misconduct?
And Mr. McGee was reassigned to the case at another point in time, just to clarify that. He wasn't only assigned at the beginning.
And
so there's an objection to relevance. Mr. LaRosse, what's the relevance of that?
How is she an expert, though? I don't get that.
Ms. Zayas, hang on. One objection at a time.
Don't you have to interview experts or whatever?
One objection at a time. All right, Mr. LaRosse, I understand that you are saying that this contradicts something that you believe Ms. Zayas has said during the course of this trial as a comment. She hasn't yet testified. So the court's not considering.
yes, it goes to credibility and also mental health. Thank you.
All right, the court will allow it to credibility. And so go ahead, Ms. DeCamp, you can answer. The court overrules and it will admit this evidence only for credibility and impeachment.
So when you first became involved, was that was prior to the dependency trial?
Yes.
And I'm sorry, one moment here. And while you've been involved with the case, Ms. Zayas gave birth to another child, Anya, is that correct? And to your knowledge, did the department file a dependency petition on Anya?
No, I do not believe so. It was during the time that I was on leave. I returned at the end of October, so I was not present for those decisions, but I have not seen a dependency petition that was filed for Anya, no.
What is your understanding of why the court found Amaya to be dependent as to the mother at the dependency trial?
So there were concerns about neglect of Amaya, of her needs. There were concerns about active ongoing substance use, untreated mental health diagnoses. There is an extensive history with Ms. Zayas with very similar concerns as to her older children. So all of those things together were for the parental deficiencies that ultimately led to the dependency, is my understanding.
Relevance, isn't that against the law to take kids for parental deficiencies?
The objection to relevance is overruled.
Objection to felonies. I mean, you guys just let felonies talk about them like they're nothing.
The objection's overruled. Go ahead, Mr. LaRosse.
Okay, thank you. During the time that you've been assigned a supervisor,
Amaya has been placed in foster care.
and has she remained in the same placement during the time that you've been supervised?
No, she's been in 2 placements.
And why was she moved from the first placement?
She was moved from the first placement by the request of the foster parents after an incident occurred where Amaya took a tablet home from a supervised visit with the mother, and the foster parents found that tablet pinging its location, and Ms. Zayas was able to learn the location of the foster home, so they did not feel safe continuing.
Relevance, how does this prove I abused Amaya? I'm still waiting.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Zayas. Mr. LaRosse, can you state the purpose for this testimony?
Yes, the record, the entire record of the mother's parenting history is relevant in a termination trial, and efforts to discover the confidential location of the foster parent's home by the mother undermine not only the confidentiality of the foster parents, but also disregard the best interest of the child because it results in an unnecessary disruption of placement.
So I'll need more foundation before I don't know what Ms. Zayas was told. I don't know what Ms. Zayas's intent was. So you can lay some foundation before you admit this testimony.
Okay. So how long had Amaya been placed with these foster parents before they requested removal?
I would need to go back and verify, but I believe it was a few months. If I'm remembering correctly, Amaya moved to her current foster home in approximately June or July of 2020, and she was placed out of home in March of 2020, so a few months.
And was Amaya doing well in that home?
Yes, she was.
Objection, how does this have anything to do with me abusing Amaya? I don't get it.
Ms. Zayas, I'm allowing Mr. LaRosse to attempt to lay foundation for the relevance of this testimony, so he's still in the foundation. So I'll let him keep going with his foundation.
For 2 years is going to lay a foundation. We know that. He said that 1,000 times.
Go ahead.
And had Ms. Zayas, prior to that, had she expressed, well, first of all, should she indicated that she was trying to find out who the foster parents were or where they were?
I can't recall whether she had before. That has been a concern throughout the case. So I believe so. She was making a lot of statements about that we had Amaya illegally. And so she didn't believe she should be out of home. So there definitely were concerning statements by Ms. Zayas. I don't recall whether she specifically said she wanted to find their location, but it was a concern that the department had. and I would have to go back and verify she made that specific statement.
Okay, and do you recall if there were, oh, wait, I'm trying to think about exactly what happened. So did the removal, was it purely predicated, the request for removal, was it predicated on simply the tracking device, or did Ms. Zayas say things about going to the home?
Oh, so there were incidents after she did find their address and location. She also located their names, found the foster fathers.
Sorry, hold on. There's an objection.
Hearsay.
This, without knowing who said what, Mr. LaRosse, it's hearsay.
How does this?
Hold on. I'm sustaining the objection to hearsay without further foundation.
Did Ms. Zayas indicate that she herself had located the foster parents?
Yes.
Mr. LaRosse,
yes.
I really need for you to ask her. I need to know who said what to whom. So when you say, did Ms. Zayas indicate? I don't know, does that mean that some record somewhere says that she said that to somebody, or did she say it to Ms. DeCamp? So that's what I need to know. Because if she said it directly to Ms. DeCamp, it's a statement of a party opponent and it's admissible. But if she said it somewhere to somebody who's not here, then there's another level of hearsay. So we've got an objection to hearsay. So I'm still sustaining the objection until I'm clear who said what to whom.
Okay.
So,
Ms. DeCamp, did Ms. Zayas inform you either verbally or by email or some other means that she had discovered the identity of the foster parents and the location?
Yes.
Did she then say that she was going to do something with that information?
Yes.
What did she say that she was going to do?
She said that she was going to go to their home, sit outside with a sign, say that they...
if this isn't an email from Ms. Zayas, Mr. LaRosse, then that's going to satisfy the hearsay exception, but I need to know that. Did the email go to Ms. DeCamp or did the email go to somebody else? We just need to be precise.
Ms. DeCamp, were you a recipient of that email?
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead. She was going to sit outside.
Sit outside and say that they were stealing children, something along the lines of that. I would have to look at the email to be sure exactly her words, and that she would sue them. And yeah, she was going to sit outside their house. And she talked about doing so. The foster parents felt unsafe.
Objection, didn't she say she was going to protest outside of their house? Isn't that her right to protest peacefully?
Hang on. Ms. Zayas, if you want to cross-examine Ms. DeCamp on the email when you have cross-examination, you're welcome to. But
by the time I do, we'll have 5 minutes left, so what's the point?
I'll give you as much time as you need to cross-examine. So hang on.
I won't have that much time. He's going to talk all day.
Was it after the foster parents were informed? Well, I'm sorry. Were the foster parents informed that Ms. Zayas had these intentions?
Yes.
Was it after that they asked for Amaya to be moved?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a lie. That's perjury. It wasn't after that. It was after Jamal went and told them to get a restraining order is when they asked her to be moved.
Ms. Zayas, you can cross-examine in a moment. Go ahead, Mr. Law.
Did the foster parents get a restraining order against Ms. Zayas?
I believe they did, yes.
Do you know if there was any additional basis for their request?
Honestly, I would need to go back and review it since it was a while ago. I recall they had a lot of concerns about their safety, which is why they stated they wanted it.
I can't say she's lying right now, please. Am I allowed to say that?
Well, so what you're allowed to do is cross-examine her on the source.
But when I cross-examine her,
hold on. You're allowed, Ms. Zayas, you're allowed to object to relevance, hearsay, or something else, but later you can't object to that. That's up to me to decide. But you can cross-examine her on the document later if you'd like to. If you think she's being inaccurate, you can cross-examine her later. So
she knows everything.
Okay.
It's her fault. She got the restraining order. She's the one who testified.
Go ahead, Mr. LaRosse.
Thank you. So while you were assigned to the case, was Amaya ever placed with Ms. Zayas?
No.
And while you were assigned, while you have been assigned to the case, has Ms. Zayas ever requested placement from the court?
No.
Mr. LaRosse, I don't understand that question. I'm sorry. I think I need to, and I don't understand what that question was.
I'll rephrase it again. Well, Ms. DeCamp, while you have been assigned to or engaged in this case, has Ms. Zayas ever set a motion before the court presiding over the dependency matter, asking for the court to order that Amaya be returned to the mother's care?
No, she has not.
Thank you.
Okay.
She's a liar through her teeth. Oh my God, you know what? She belongs in prison. I do not like her at all. I'm putting her in prison. I swear to God I am. Watch.
Can I clarify, Mr. Ross, my answer further?
I beg your pardon, Ms. DeCamp?
Can I clarify my answer a little further?
Sure.
So Ms. Zayas has filed a lot of documents into the court file. My response was specifically whether a motion occurred. Ms. Zayas has filed a lot of documents, but there hasn't been an actual motion hearing on return home in front of the court.
So now I'm more confused about, has she filed asking for her child to be returned to her, and it just hasn't been set as a formal motion? Is that what you mean?
So trying to figure out how to explain. There's not been a formal motion. Ms. Zayas files many documents into the legal case, and often they bring up many of her perspectives on the legality of the case, Amaya's out-of-home placement. So often she brings up her concern that Amaya is out of home, but there wasn't ever a formal motion about that subject.
Thank you very much for clarifying, Ms. DeCamp.
And has she, while you've been involved with the case, has she ever communicated with the department saying, what can I do to have Amaya returned home?
No, she hasn't asked what she could do. She typically refuses the offers that we make, and has not asked what she could do. So no.
And when you say refuses the offers that we make, what sort of offers? What do you mean by that?
So our role as CFWS
People were
social
here
workers,
when my child was taken. They need to not be talking about it. They don't know what they're talking about. Neither of them were here when my child was taken. Neither of them.
Okay, so what's
The events
your
don't
objection?
have about. They're both lying.
Okay, not that one. Do you have any other objection?
She's a felon. Wait till it's my turn. It's over. She's done.
Okay.
She's done. That's all I got to say. I'm going to take 5 hours.
Okay. Those objections are overruled.
So in CFWS, our role is to offer services to parents so that we can reunify families. And so we offered Ms. Zayas services prior to the dependency order being
She
entered.
ignored me for 6 weeks straight. She's a liar. She ignored me for 6 weeks. She's a liar.
Ms. Zayas.
No, she's a liar. She's committing perjury right now.
When it's your turn, you can ask questions. But right now, we need to get through direct examination so that we can get to you. So go ahead, Ms.
So we offered services to Ms. Zayas prior to dependency being established and after, once those services were court ordered. So we made regular offers over the phone, in email, in-person communications with Ms. Zayas, service letters, asking her to engage in those services that the court determined were necessary. So those offers were the ones she was refusing. And I can outline those services if that would be helpful.
Yes, let me just, after the dependency trial, you mentioned that services were court ordered. Was that part of the dispositional order entered following the dependency trial?
Yes.
And you indicated that the court ordered the mother to participate in specific services. What were those services?
A drug and alcohol evaluation and follow recommendations, random UAs for 90 days, a psychological evaluation with parenting component and follow recommendations. That I believe it was a evidence-based practice upon reunification, but I might have that one. I believe it was a parenting class upon reunification.
So upon reunification, to participate in an evidence-based parenting service?
Yes, I believe so. I don't know if we, without looking at the order, I can't recall whether we specified which evidence-based service. There are a number of them. I feel like it was FPS and home builders in the order. And then later, we did do a FCAP assessment, which recommended triple P, which is another evidence-based parenting class.
I'm just going to note that Ms. Zayas has logged off or gotten kicked off because that's happened with her internet. I'm going to ask my bailiff to reach out to her. Go ahead. And you can keep going.
And the evidence-based parenting service, that was to be an in-home service, is that correct?
Correct, yes, upon reunification.
And for the parenting, the in-home parenting service, did reunification ever become imminent?
No.
And so was that service ever, was it ever time to refer her for that service?
No, home builders or FPS would be most appropriate at reunification. So those were not offered.
Okay. Regarding the psychological evaluation with parenting component, earlier we discussed using experts for evaluations. For a psychological evaluation with parenting component, are there requirements for what type of qualifications are necessary for the department to contract with an individual to provide that service?
Yes.
And what sorts of qualifications are required?
So the contracted psychological evaluation providers that the department utilizes are licensed psychologists. They have to be licensed in the state that they're practicing. So typically our providers are here in Washington. We also require them to have a certain type of experience and training and knowledge about childhood trauma, how that impacts mental health diagnoses. We have a whole list of qualifications that someone must meet before DCYF will contract with them for psychological evaluations. And because the parenting component is something that we also really value in those assessments, the provider has to be familiar with how those mental health diagnoses or behaviors and their observations impact the client's parenting, which is particularly helpful and relevant to us in our child welfare cases. So the contracts team does have a specific set of criteria that they look for our evaluators.
And did the
Ms.
department...
Zayas is back. I just want to say that she's been back for about a minute and a half. Go ahead.
Okay.
So what are you talking about that has anything to do with me beating up my child?
The objection to relevance is overruled. Go ahead, Mr. LaRosse.
No, I don't get it. She's been talking forever and she has said nothing that says Miriam Amaya. Not one thing. She's useless.
Did the department obtain a psychological evaluation with parenting component from a contracted provider?
Yes, we did.
And was that from Dr. Steve Tutty?
Yes.
And did Dr. Tutty make any recommendations for services for Ms. Zayas?
Yes, he did.
Do you recall what the services were?
I don't recall all of them. I remember many of them. So I know he recommended that she consult with a neurologist, that she engage with a department approved therapist who was trained in cognitive behavioral therapy or DBT, and engage in substance use services as recommended, continue supervised visitation. I think there were a few more. I would have to review his report to be certain about all the recommendations.
Okay, well, we'll return to that issue, but one thing. Do you recall whether Ms. Zayas completed the entirety of the evaluation process?
One of his recommendations was for her to come back and do the parent-child observation. She did not complete that portion, but she did complete.
How did that abuse Amaya's relevance? How did not finishing the parent evaluation? How did that abuse Amaya? Besides you guys,
the objection to relevance is overruled. I think I'm going to do this, Ms. Zayas. I think I'm going to do this. Can you raise your hand when you have an objection, and I'll call on you because.
How about when she says perjury? Can I raise my hand for that too?
You can raise your hand at any time, and I will call on you. But I need to do it this way so we're not interrupting each other because it's.
She is. Trust me. But trust me. That woman is the devil. She's the devil herself.
All right. Put yourself on mute. Put yourself on mute. And when you have an objection, raise your hand. Together. Okay. Go ahead, Mr. LaRosse.
Okay, thank you.
I can just leave until he's done. Can you text me when he's done?
Do you want to not hear?
Yeah, I do. I'm not feeling this whole vibe is not okay.
Okay. So let me ask you this, Ms. Zayas. Are you asking to be excused until it's your turn to ask questions?
Yes.
And so therefore I just want to make sure, I got to make a record that you're waiving your right to be present during the direct examination.
Heard testimony, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Hold on. Don't leave yet. Mr. LaRosse, any further colloquy?
I'm trying to remember where I was.
No. Any further colloquy with Ms. Zayas? Do you think she sufficiently waived her right to be present?
Oh, as she understands, so long as she explicitly understands that testimony will continue to be taken in her absence, she has the right to depart. She did, however, I do have one question, which is she has to be texted.
She's asking for the court to let her know when it's her turn to ask questions. And the court did that before, as I told you. It's
hard for me not to hold my mouth shut when she just keeps lying over and over.
So what I'll do is I'm asking my bailiff to keep in contact with her and let her know when it's her turn to ask questions. Any objection to that?
No, however, just to be sure, maybe when I'm done and the CASA is going to ask questions, maybe we should let Ms. Zayas know so that if she wants to come back for that, she can.
That's what we'll do. We did that in the last witness, so she could come back. All right, Ms. Cowan, any objection to that procedure?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Zayas, you can go away, and Ms. Stronsky will let you know when it's your turn. Okay. All right, go ahead, Mr. Ross.
Let's see here. So in regards to the services you have mentioned that have been ordered and recommended by Dr. Tuddy, has the department offered or provided all of those services to Ms. Zayas? And I'm going to ask you about that in more detail later, but let me ask you a separate issue first, which is that since entry of the dispositional order, did the court later order the mother to participate in any services?
She was ordered to participate in the FCAP assessment. That's the only other service I can recall.
And did Ms. Zayas, did she agree to participate in the FCAP assessment?
No, she did not.
And did the department attempt to encourage her to participate in the assessment?
Yes.
Following entry of the dispositional order, did, aside from the motion for FCAP, did any party make a motion for the court to order any other service?
And Mr. LaRosse, we got to take a break sometime in the next 7 minutes, so I'll defer to you when a good time is.
I would be delighted to take a break right now.
Okay. Ms. DeCamp, I know you've only been with us a short time, but I've been working on the record since 1 o'clock and my staff has too. So we are going to take a break. We will come back at 5 minutes to 3, and we'll see you then. Thank you.
Thank you. And I should caution everyone that I have just a lot of information to glean from Ms. DeCamp, so I'm going to try and go as fast as possible. But especially when we get to the records, it's going to be a bit of a sprint. So, Ms. DeCamp, let's see here. So when we broke, we were talking about services. Did the department offer any services other than the ones that we've discussed so far to Ms. Zayas?
I don't believe so. I think they all fall within either the court-ordered services or the recommendations of those.
And did the department believe that all of the services that we've discussed so far were the appropriate services for Ms. Zayas? If there was another service that the department thought was appropriate, would you have encouraged the assigned workers to offer that service to Ms. Zayas? Did Ms. Zayas ever ask you if she could participate, or to your knowledge, did you ask Ms. Flieger or Mr. McGee if she could participate in additional services than the ones we've discussed?
No.
Do you know if Ms. Zayas engaged in any services other than those that we have discussed?
I believe there were some services she did regarding Anya, but again, that was when I was on leave, and I don't believe there's been any other services she's engaged in regarding a.
I think you indicated this previously, but while you have been involved with the case, aside from the time when you were on leave, did the department attempt to engage Ms. Zayas in all of the services that we have mentioned?
Yes.
And how was that attempt?
Variety of ways, email, text, in person, phone call. We also, because of the challenges in engaging Ms. Zayas in services, we tried to be creative about ways to engage.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, stop. Yeah, sorry, I forgot I was supposed to raise my hand.
Are you raising your hand, Ms. Zayas?
Why is everybody so obsessed with services? I will never do services. Capital Never. Ever. So please let go of the services. Nobody cares. It's not the law. The law, I'll show you later, but please, it's not relevant to Amaya.
The objection to relevance is overruled.
I'm sorry, so let's just catch up. You said there was a challenge of engaging Ms. Zayas in services, so you were trying to be creative?
Yeah, the assigned social workers and I thought about ways that we could try to get other providers involved. One of those that we offered to Ms. Zayas was to try to connect her with the parent ally.
Oh my God, she's committing perjury.
Ms. Zayas,
I'm sorry.
please
It
mute
comes out of her
yourself.
mouth.
Hold on.
It comes out of her mouth is a lot.
Please mute yourself and raise your hand if you have an objection.
I'm going to sue the police for not arresting her when I first called them on her. That's what I'm going to do. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I can't sit here and listen to this lady lie all the time. All she's doing is lying. She ignored me for months. She's a liar. I can't sit here and listen to this.
So you said trying to get other providers involved. What are the other providers?
We thought perhaps recommending that Ms. Zayas engage with the Parent for Parent program or Parent Ally might be a way to encourage her engagement with us in a productive way so that we could all ultimately work towards reunification of Amaya with Ms. Zayas. Ms. Zayas wasn't open to that idea. We also...
I don't know who she's talking about. She's a liar. What she's saying is a lie. You understand what that means?
So, Ms. Zayas, here's what we're going to do.
No, it's a crime. It's perjury.
Hang on. Ms. Zayas, I'm going to...
I don't even know what she's talking about.
All right. I am going to see if Ms. Stronsky can make me a host, and I'm going to mute you, and I will unmute you when you raise your hand.
I'm going to sue the police tonight for not arresting her the first time.
So, Ms. Stronsky, can we do that? Is that a thing that can happen?
Yes, you should be co-host now.
Okay. And so how can I control the mute?
You should be able to. Hold on one second. Yeah, so if you hover over one of the video squares, and then in the top right corner, there should be like the 3 dots.
Mm-hmm.
And if you click on that, you should have the option.
I'm going to let you look at it. It says ask to unmute, but it doesn't have like a mute.
That's because she's muted now.
Okay. But if she unmutes without raising her hand, I can mute her.
You should be able to,
Okay.
yeah.
Very good. All right. That's what I'm going to do, Ms. Zayas. And if you raise your hand, I'll unmute you. Okay. All right. Continue, Ms.
One of the other ideas that we had, which we experienced some difficulties with, was the idea about maybe trying to get a Office of Public Defense social worker, but with Ms. Zayas' decision to represent herself, we weren't able to secure that either. So really, it was myself and the social workers making regular efforts to try and work with Ms. Zayas, and if she would agree to any of the services, we tried to work with her where she was at to start there. So there was a point in time when she expressed she was willing to do the psychological evaluation, and we referred that and got her engaged as soon as she said she was ready. So just really offering the services in all those ways: email, text, phone call, in person, service letter, and trying to meet her where she was at in terms of her readiness.
And just for our record, Ms. Zayas has left, and so I will let her know when it's cross-examination time. Go ahead, Mr.
Were any meetings held with Ms. Zayas?
Yes, we did have shared planning meetings, and then we had in-person check-ins with her as well.
And what were the purpose of those meetings?
Shared planning meetings are, so one of them actually was the FTDM, so family team decision-making meeting, when Amaya was moving to a new foster home. So we talk about that transition to make sure services are in place for the child. We also, in shared planning,